In the previous video, you could see such mysterious coincidences that simply cannot be explained. Now here is the second part of the compilation. The Bermuda taxi driver. Bermuda, Hamilton, the 30th of June, 1974. Neville Eben, a 17-year-old boy, had the worst day of his life when he was hit by a taxi carrying a passenger while he was riding his scooter. The unfortunate boy died instantly. Almost exactly a year later, on the 18th of July, 1975, the same taxi driver hit another person, Erskine Eben, the brother of the victim of the accident a year earlier. This may seem like a strange coincidence in itself, but as it turned out, Erskine was 17 years old, as was his brother the year before. Both brothers were riding a motorcycle of the same kind and were hit in the same place. But perhaps most strangely, the taxi passenger was the exact same person in both accidents. Edgar Allan Poe's time machine? United States, 1838. Edgar Allan Poe published his narrative, The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket, which tells the story of 4 sailors who are shipwrecked. In order to survive, they must eat one of their fellow sailors. The sailor's name was Richard Parker. Poe claimed that the book was a true story, although many doubted this. However, 46 years later, an American ship did sink, and the rescued sailors killed one of the sailors to keep from starving to death. The sailor's name was, of course, Richard Parker, just like the character in the work published nearly half a century before. It was then when rumors began to spread that Poe might have had a time machine. The Hoover Dam mystery. USA, Nevada, the 20s and 30s. During the Great Depression, President Hoover built the famous Nevada Dam to create jobs and boost the economy. Although 112 people died on the site during the entire construction period, the first man to die was George Tierney, who died in an accident on December 20th, 1922, while carrying out preparatory work. The workers were caught in a flash flood, and Tierney drowned after falling into the Colorado River. After 13 years, as the final touches were being put on the dam, the final death occurred. The unfortunate victim was none other than Patrick Tierney, son of the dam's first victim. You might think it was just another strange coincidence, but he died exactly the same day as his father, on the 20th of December. Today, a memorial plaque reminds us of the sacrifices that went into this huge construction project. Anthony Hopkins' rare book. London, 1974. Shortly after Anthony Hopkins was cast in the film The Girl from Petrovka, he wanted to read George Pfeiffer's novel, which was the basis for the film. He could not find the book in any bookshop in London. Then, while waiting for a train at Leicester Square tube station, he saw a book on a bench. It was the book he was looking for. In addition, there were notes scrawled on the page edges. Hopkins later discovered that a friend of Pfeiffer's had lost his own copy of the writer's annotated copy, which he found in the subway. Strange poker party. United States, 1858. In 1858, a man named Robert Poloni was murdered in revenge by his gambling partners. They claimed that Poloni had cheated at poker because he was desperate to get his hands on the $600 stake, which was already a lot of money then. Poloni's seat at the poker table was vacant, but none of the players wanted to take the money, which was covered in blood. Later that night, a new player was found to take Poloni's place, and another poker party began. By the time the police arrived to investigate the murder, the new poker player had already made $2,200 from that $600. The authorities took the original amount, $600, to legally give to Poloni's next of kin. It was then discovered that the new player was none other than the son of the dead Poloni. What's so mysterious about that? It's that the son hasn't seen his father for the last 7 years. King Umberto and his double. Italy, 1900. King Umberto I of Italy dined with his secretary at a restaurant in Monza, where he was due to attend an athletics competition the next day. He was shocked to discover that the restaurant owner looked exactly like him. After talking to him, it turned out that there were other similarities. The restaurant owner's name was Umberto, and like the king, he was born in Turin on the same day. The restaurant owner married a girl called Margherita on the same day that the king married Queen Margherita. He opened his restaurant on the same day that King Umberto I was crowned. The king was impressed and invited his double to the athletics competition. The next day, however, on the 29th of July, 1900, Umberto I learned that the restaurant owner had died in a mysterious shooting the next morning. The king was informed of what had happened the same day, and shortly afterwards he himself was shot dead by an anarchist, Gaetano Bresci, from the crowd. So even the date of their deaths was the same. The baby rain. USA, Detroit, 1937. A young mother could probably have thought the man Joseph Figlock was an angel who was in the right place at the right time. Figlock was walking down the street when a baby fell from the fourth-floor window of an apartment building straight onto him. Although the man and the baby were hit in the shoulder and head, both escaped without major injury. A year later, on the 17th of October, 1938, another baby fell from a fourth-floor apartment building window. And who was the person this baby fell on and got away with scratches? Mr. Figlock, of course, who played the role of the angel rescuer for the second time. Although many articles have reported that Figlock saved the same baby a second time, this is really just sensationalism. But what's still a real mystery is, what the hell is a baby doing in a window? The famous neighbors. Both composer George Handel and world-famous guitarist Jimi Hendrix started their careers on Brook Street in London. Handel lived at 25 and Hendrix at 23. The only difference is that they were separated by 2 centuries, but the similarities are striking. After all, they both started from almost the same place, and both had a major influence on the musical development of their time. Trump and The Simpsons? The creators of the satirical cartoon series have been joking about Trump's presidency 16 years ago, when it was not even a thought that he would ever be considered as a presidential candidate. But the images in the cartoon, broadcast on the 19th of March 2000, show eerie similarities with the real-life images from 15 years later. Let's look at the details. When Trump comes down the escalator, he waves with his right hand and then gestures okay with his left, just like in the cartoon. Do you think this is just a strange coincidence? Then let's see it in more detail. A piece of paper held in the hand of a presenter falls off in the same way and in the same place, both in the film and in reality. The bodyguards are at the top of the escalator, and there are 2 of them in the cartoon too. And a little bit of summing up at the end. One scene is eerily similar to the real one. Is it a coincidence? Or would the cartoon have predicted the future, as perhaps in the case of September 11th, 2001, where the front page of the newspaper in the 1997 episode shows the number 911, the date of September 11th? The reality is much less mysterious. The truth is that the cartoon was actually featured in a 2015 mini-episode that was produced after Trump announced his candidacy for the Republican presidential nomination. Footage from that campaign was used in the cartoon. Well, this was the second part of the Mysterious Coincidences compilation. Leave your opinion about the video in the comments. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss my next uploads. Thanks for your attention. See you in the next video.